Welcome to the DEO online classes. This is Vijayendar, PGT in Physics, TS Model School, Kanagal. In this class, we are going to learn about reflection of light at curved surfaces. In this particular video, we are going to learn about this following. One is introduction to the light. And some basic concept of light. Introduction to the light and basic concept of the light. Second one, we are going to learn about reflection of light. And third one is finding normal to the curved surface. Finding normal to the curved surface. Next, fourth one is finding focus. Before that, just we explain about types of mirrors. And fifth one is finding focal length of the concave mirror. In particular video, we are going to learn about introduction to the light and some basic concepts. Second part is reflection of light, finding normal to the curved surface, types of mirrors, that is plane mirrors and spherical mirrors. Next, finding focal length of the concave mirror. In particular, part 1. This is the first class, part 1. In this part 1, we are going to learn about these topics. First one, light. Definition of light. Here, light, to see anything or any object, we need the light. Light must reflect from the object. Light is making us to see the object, or light is creating sensation of sight. So, light definition, light means it is a form of energy. Which creates the sensation of sight. Sight means we are able to see. Here light is making us to see the object clearly. Without light we cannot see the objects or anything. So light can be say, light is a form of energy which is creating the sensation of sight. And light is a electromagnetic wave. Light is a electromagnetic wave. Light is a electromagnetic wave whose wavelength is 400 nanometer to 700 nanometer. Light is a electromagnetic wave whose wavelength is 400 nanometer to 700 nanometer. Next, light is always traveling in straight line. So, straight line. So, the propagation of propagation means traveling. Light is traveling or propagating in straight line. This property or this propagation of light is called rectilinear propagation of light. Rectilinear means straight line. Rectilinear propagation of light. Means light always travel in straight line. Propagation means traveling. So this propagation of light is rectilinear propagation of light. Next, light always travels in the form of rays. If you observe the light always traveling in straight line, and you can observe the rays like this, form of rays. Next, here light is traveling in the form of rays. This collection of light rays is called beam of light. Beam of light means collection of light rays. Collection of light rays is called beam of light. Here beam of light or light rays can divided into two types. Again, beam of light, one is convergent beam. Beam of light is two types. One is convergent beam, second one is divergent beam. Convergent beam and divergent beam. Convergent means here all light rays are coming towards a point or moving towards a point. This collection of this type of light beam or beam of light is called convergent beam. If the all light rays coming towards a point, then the light beam is called convergent beam. Divergent means disperse. If the light rays are moving away from the point, such type of beam is called divergent beam. Divergent beam, all light rays are moving away from a point, so this type of beam is called divergent beam. Convergent means all light rays are coming towards the point, is called convergent beam. Now second, reflection of light. Before that, here in some objects light can travel through some objects and it cannot travel through some objects. If you take the this board, light cannot travel through the board, but if you take the glass, light can travel through the glass. So all objects can divided into two types. One is transparent objects or transparent bodies, second one is opaque bodies. Transparent means the objects which allows the light through them are called transparent bodies. Example, water, glass. Through these objects light can pass, light can travel through the transparent bodies. Opaque means the objects which cannot allow light through them are called opaque bodies. Through the opaque examples, wood, board, everything, maximum bodies are opaque bodies only. When the light is falling on the transparent bodies, it is traveling through the transparent body. But when the light is incident or falling on the opaque body, it is returning back into the same path. Here, when the light is incident on the opaque body, it is returning back into the same path. So, this phenomena, when the light is incident on the opaque surface, it is returning into the same plane or same media, is called reflection of light. Reflection of light. When the light is incident on the opaque surface, it is returning back into the same path. Like when we throw a ball on the wall, it is returning back. This phenomena is called reflection of light. Similarly, light is when the light is incident on the opaque surface, it is returning back. That is called reflection of light. This is the reflection of light at a plane surface. Here, this is the plane surface. This is the reflecting surface. If the light is incident at this point M, this light is reflecting back into the same media. So, here this ray which is incidenting on the surface is called incident ray. Incident ray. And the ray which is reflecting back into the same media is called reflected ray. Reflected ray. Incident ray, the ray which is incidenting is called incident ray. The ray which is reflected back into the same media is called reflected ray. Next, to find how much angle this ray is incident at the point of incidence, this point is called point of incidence. We must draw the normal. Normal we can drawing the perpendicular. This is the normal. This is the plane surface, reflection of light. Plane surface. Here, the angle between the incident ray and normal is called angle of incidence. Angle of incidence. It is denoted by angle I. Angle I. And the angle between the reflected ray and normal is called angle of reflection. It is denoted by angle R. Angle of incident and angle of reflection. Here angle of incident is angle between the incident ray and normal is called angle of incident. Angle between the reflected ray and normal is called angle of reflection. Angle of reflection is denoted by angle R. Angle of incident is denoted by angle I. This is. Now, here we have the laws of reflection. Laws of reflection. Here we have two laws. One is this angle of incident and angle of reflection. First law. First law says that. First law is this angle of incidence, angle I, is equal to the angle of reflection. Angle of incident, angle I, is equal to the angle of reflection. Second law of reflection is, see, this incident ray, normal and reflected ray are all lie in the same plane. Incident ray, normal and reflected ray lie in the same plane. Same plane. These are the laws of reflection. Here the relation between the angle of incident and the angle of reflection is both are equal. How much the incident ray is making an angle with the normal, reflected ray is also making the same angle, that is the angle of incident angle I is equal to angle of reflection angular, angle I is equal to angular. Second law is incident ray, normal and reflected ray lie in the same plane. Now this is the laws of reflection for plane surface. Now to find the normal to the curved surface, finding normal to the curved surface, finding normal to the curved surface, curved surface. Yes, to find the angle of incidence and angle of reflection we must need the normal. To plane surface we can directly draw the perpendicular, that will give the normal at the point. Now what about the normal to the curved surface? In curved surface means, just in class, in 10th class we are going to learn about the spherical surface, spherical shape also curved shape. So we all curved means spherical, we are going to find the normal to the curved surface means normal to the spherical surface. To find the normal to the spherical surface we need the material rubber foam, material required to find the normal to the curved surface is rubber foam, second one is pins, rubber foam and pins. Now take the rubber foam, in rectangular shape. Now this is rectangular shape. Now fix the pin perpendicular to the rubber foam. Perpendicular to the rubber foam. These pins are now showing the normal at these points. Now bend the rubber foam inward or inside. If we bend this rubber foam inside, these pins are looking like this. That means these pins are moving towards a point. That means these pins are converging at a point. They are really converging at a point. This is still they are showing the normal to the surface. This converging point of these normals is called center of curvature. This converging center of curvature. Next, if we move this rubber foam inwards, then these pins are converging at a point, really converging at a point. Now, if we bend outside, this rubber foam outside, now they are looking like this. These pins are moving away from the pant. They appear, if we extend these pins backside, these pins are appear diverging from a pant. Still they are showing the normal to the this curved surface. So here these converging point of these normals is called center of curvature. Here these diverging points of the normal is called center of curvature. Here to draw the normal to the curved surface, simply we should draw a line from the center of curvature to the any point on the curved surface, that will give the normal at that point. Here to find the normal to the curved surface, your material required a rubber foam pins. First of all, fix the pins perpendicular to this rectangular rubber foam. Next, bend these rubber foam into inwards. Then these pins are appeared converging at a point. If we bend this rubber foam outside like this, these pins are appear diverging from a point. This still, even though if we bend this is the rectangular rubber foam, if we bend the rubber foam like this inward, these pins are like this, these pins are converging at a point. If we bend outside, then these pins are appear diverging from a point. Still these pins are showing the normal, and these converging points of these normals is called center of curvature to the curved surface or spherical surface. So, in conclusion we can give that to find the normal to the curved surface or spherical surface, simply we draw a point from center of curvature to that point, will give the normal to the curved surface. Normal phi. Next, here to find the normal to the curved surface, just we draw a line from center to that point. Now, these mirrors are two types of mirrors. Here on the base of the surface, mirrors can divide it into two types. One is plane mirror, second one is curved mirror or spherical mirror. Here plane mirror, the mirror which is having the plane reflecting surface. Plane mirrors having the plane reflecting surface. The mirror which have the plane reflecting surface is called plane mirror. Examples, daily we are seeing our image in the mirror. Daily usage mirror is plane mirror. Next, spherical mirror. The mirror whose reflecting surface is spherical is called spherical mirror. Reflecting surface is spherical, then the mirror is called spherical mirror. Example, the mirror in the vehicles, which are using to see the backside objects. Here spherical mirrors is also again divided into two types. In this class we are going to learn about the spherical mirrors. In this particular video we are going to learn the types of spherical mirrors. Yesterday we have seen that mirrors are two types, plane mirror and spherical mirror. Plane mirror is the mirror which is having the plane reflecting surface. Now spherical mirrors. Spherical mirror is the mirror which is having the spherical reflecting surface. Here spherical reflecting surface. Spherical mirrors are again two types. One is concave mirror, second one is convex mirror. Convex mirror. Here concave mirror is spherical mirrors that may be concave or convex mirror. These are the part of the sphere, that is from spherical glass we made the spherical mirrors. So concave mirror. Concave mirror is a part of the spherical mirror and which is having the reflecting surface inside. This is the concave mirror. In concave mirror, inside this is the reflecting surface, outside this is the line part is the non-reflecting surface. If the reflecting surface of a spherical mirror is inward, then the mirror is called concave mirror. Concave mirror is also known as the converging mirror. Converging mirror. In converging mirror, reflecting surface is inward. Now convex mirror. If the reflecting surface of the spherical mirror is outward, then the mirror is called convex mirror. Here reflecting surface is outward, it is non-coated. This is the non-reflecting surface, it is coated, that is given by the lines. We have seen the concave mirrors and convex mirrors. We can see the two types of mirrors. This is the concave mirror, this is the inside is the reflecting surface, outside is coated part, colored part. This is the convex mirror. Here reflecting surface is outward or outside is there. You can observe the clearly reflecting surface for the concave mirror is inside, for the convex mirror is outside. So next some terms related to these concave and convex mirrors or spherical mirrors. Terms related to the spherical mirror. Spherical mirrors. This is the concave mirror. This geometrical midpoint of the concave mirror is called pole, denoted by the capital letter P. First one is pole. Next, second one is center of curvature. See, third one is principal axis. Fourth one is radius of curvature. First one, pole. This geometrical midpoint of the spherical mirror is called pole of the mirror, denoted by the capital P. Next, this spherical mirror, concave mirror, is made from the sphere. So, center of the sphere from which the spherical mirror is a part is called center of curvature, denoted by the C. The line passing through the pole P and center of curvature C is called principal axis. Principal axis. The distance between the pole and center of curvature is called radius of curvature, denoted by the capital R. These are the terms related to the spherical mirror. First one is pole. Pole is the geometrical midpoint of the spherical mirror. And center of curvature. Center of curvature is the center of the sphere from which the spherical mirror is a part, is called center of curvature C. And principal axis. The line passing through the pole P and center of curvature C is called principal axis. Radius of curvature. The distance between the pole and center of curvature is called radius of curvature, capital R. Now, to draw the normal to the any point on the spherical surface, just we draw a line. This line will give the line from the center to the any point on the spherical mirror will give the normal at that point. Next, we are going to learn the how to find the focus and focal length of the concave mirror. Before that, to get the parallel beam of rays, the source must be at sufficient distance, the intensity of the light must be sufficient. Then we can get the parallel beam of light rays. To get the parallel beam of light rays, source of light is at long distance and intensity of the light must be sufficient. Light must be sufficient. Then we can get the parallel beam of light rays. Finding focus and focal length of the concave mirror. Finding focal length of the concave mirror. The materials required are concave mirror, and white paper, sunlight, and scale. Next procedure. Okay. The materials required to find the focal length of a concave mirror are concave mirror, white paper, and sunlight scale. This is the concave mirror. This is the white paper. Place this concave mirror toward the sunlight, and place the white paper near the in front of the concave mirror. Now move forward and backward and find the position where you get the sharp image of the sun. That sharp image of the sun will give the focus of this concave mirror. Okay. Now we can get the sharp image of the sun on the paper. That sharp image of the sun will give the focus of this concave mirror. Now measure the distance between concave mirror and image of the sun, that is focus. That will give the focal length of this concave mirror. So we can see the focus and focal length of the concave mirror by drawing the ray diagram. Focal length of the concave mirror, just take the concave mirror, the pole, center of curvature, focus, center of curvature. The line passing through the pole and focus is called principal axis. Now here the sun is at infinite distance. So only parallel rays from the sun can travel through the longer distance and incidenting on the concave mirror. So we take the only parallel light rays. This is the ray 1. It is incidenting on the concave surface and passing through the point. Now another ray is coming from the sun and incidenting on the concave surface. It is also passing through the same point. This side also incident ray, it is incidenting on the concave surface and reflecting. This is the incident ray. If we observe this rays, reflected rays, all reflected rays are intersecting at a point or converging at a point. This intersecting point of all these reflected rays, when the incident rays are parallel to the principal axis, then the reflecting rays are converging at a point on the principal axis. This point is called focus. This point is called focus or principal focus, denoted by the capital F. Next, the distance between the pole P and focal length, principal focus F is called focal length. Focal length of the concave mirror. Focal length is denoted by the small f. The distance between the pole and focus is called focal length F. Here the focus or principal focus is exactly midpoint of the pole and center of curvature. So we can give the relation between the focal length small f. This is the distance between pole and focus. is called focal length, is denoted by the small f. Next we can find the relation between the focal length small f and radius of curvature capital R. Relation between focal length small f and radius of curvature capital R. From the figure, here PC is the radius of curvature capital R and PF is the focal length small f, and FC is also focal length equal to the focal length small f. So, from the figure we can see that PC is equal to PF plus FC, PF plus FC. So, PC is equal to R. By substituting all these values we get capital R is equal to PF is equal to small f plus FC is equal to small f. So, R is equal to radius of curvature is equal to 2f. Radius of curvature R is equal to 2f, that means double of its focal length or 2 times of its focal length. From this we can get focal length small f is equal to R by 2. That means focal length of the spherical mirror is half of its radius. This is the relation between the focal length small f and radius of curvature capital R. Okay, thank you. Next. Welcome to the DUO online classes. Now in this video we are going to see the reflection of light at curved surface part 2. Part 2. In this part 2 we are going to see the behavior of the reflected ray, on concave surface and convex surfaces. Second one is sign convention. Third one is some terms related to the image. Now, behavior of the reflected rays on concave surface. Behavior of reflected surface on concave mirror. Here behavior of the reflected rays, how the reflected ray is behaving is given by the 3 rules: rule 1 R1, rule 2 R2, rule 3. Rule 1 is first you take the concave mirror. This is the pole, this is the center of curvature. The line passing through the pole and center of curvature is principal axis. principal axis. This line, the point midpoint of P and C is focus, is F. First rule 1 is, see here, this is the incident ray. Incident ray is parallel to the passing parallel to the principal axis of the concave mirror. After reflection, it is passing through the focus. Incident ray is parallel to the, if the incident ray is parallel to the principal axis of the concave mirror, then the reflected ray is passing through the focus, is rule 1, R1. Second one, pole, center of curvature, focus. Now what about the, here first one, incident ray is parallel to the principal axis, after reflection it is passing through the focus. Now if the incident ray is passing through the focus F, then the reflected ray, this is the reflected ray, is parallel to the principal axis. This is the principal axis. Principal axis. Rule 2, or when the incident ray is passing through the focus of the concave mirror, then reflected ray is parallel to the principal axis. Now rule 3 is, this is the pole, this is the center of curvature, principal axis, this is the focus. Now in third case, if the incident ray is passing through the center of curvature C, then the reflected ray is returning in the same path, or reflected ray is undeviated. Behavior of the reflected rays on the concave mirror, we have the 3 rules. According to the 3 rules, the reflected ray behaves. Here all reflected rays follows the laws of reflection. That means here angle of incident in every case is equal to the angle of reflection. Here also, to draw the normal, just we should draw the normal. Normal means the line from the center of curvature to the point of incidence. This will give the normal n. Here also we can draw the normal n. First one, if the incident ray is parallel to the principal axis of the concave mirror, then the reflected ray is passing through the focus. In second rule, if the incident ray is passing through the focus of the concave mirror, then the reflected ray is parallel to the principal axis. Third one is, if the incident ray passing through the center of curvature, then the reflected ray is just returning back in the same path, is the third rule. Now behavior of the reflected rays on the convex mirror. Convex mirror. For convex mirror, here inner part or inside part is coated. This geometrical midpoint is called pole. This is called center of curvature. This is principal axis. This is the focus. Here incident ray is incidenting on the convex surface. Here this incident ray is appeared. If we just extended this incident ray, it is appeared passing through the focus, or if the direction of the incident ray is passing through the focus on the convex mirror, then this reflected ray is parallel to the principal axis. This is the incident ray, this is the reflected ray. Here incident ray is appeared, the direction of the incident ray appeared passing to the focus. This is the reflected ray. Reflected ray is parallel to the principal axis. This is the rule 1. Now second rule is same. Convex mirror coated inside, reflecting surface is outside. This is the pole. Center of curvature, this is the principal axis. Principal axis. Here in second case, incident ray is parallel to the principal axis. This is then reflected ray. If we extend the reflected ray, this reflected ray is appeared passing from the focus or diverging from the focus. Second rule is, if the incident ray is parallel to the principal axis of the convex mirror, then the reflected ray is appeared diverging from the focus. This is the second case. In third case, pole, focus, center of curvature. In third case, this incident ray is appeared passing through the center of curvature, then reflected ray is undeviated. That means it is returning back in the same path. These are the three rules which are giving the behavior of the reflected rays on the convex mirror. One is, in convex mirror, incident ray, first rule is incident ray is appeared passing through the focus, reflected ray is parallel to the principal axis. Second one, in second rule, here incident ray is passing to the parallel to the principal axis of the convex mirror, then reflected ray is appeared diverging from the focus. In third case, if the incident ray is appeared passing through the center of curvature, then reflected ray is returning back in the same path. These are the three rules which are giving the behavior of the reflected rays on concave mirror and convex mirror. Here, reflection of laws, all laws applicable to in each and every case, that may be concave surface or convex surface. Next, terms related to the image. Some terms related to the image. Here image is nothing but the intersection portion of the reflected rays. If the reflected rays get meet really, so image is forming at that point where the reflected rays really converging, that point image is forming. Here this is the object AB. Here sometimes image is in the same direction, that A dash B dash, the image is in the same direction. If the image is formed in the same direction of the object, then the image is called virtual erected image. Erected image means the direction of the image is same as the direction of the objects. then the image is called erected image. If the image is formed here in opposite direction, that is A dash, B dash, the object is A to B in upward direction, but the image is downward direction, it is opposite direction. This type of image is called erected image and inverted image. This is called inverted image. Erected image and inverted image. And sometimes here object is AB, image is A dash B dash. This image is here more than the size of the image A dash B dash is more than the size of the object AB. So this according to the size, the images are we can say that enlarged image, and second one is diminished or small image. Diminished image. Enlarged means if the size of the image is more than the size of the object, that image is called enlarged image. Diminished or small image. If the size of the image is small, then the image is called diminished image. Next is we are going to see the sign convention. Sign convention. Here, this is the concave mirror, pole of the concave mirror. This is the focus. This is the center of curvature. This is the object AB. Sign convention. Sign convention means we are giving the signs to the object distance, image distance, focal length and radius of curvature. How we are giving the sign to the object distance and image distance. Here geometrical midpoint is called focus. Here center of curvature. This is the main focus F. Here distances, sign convention first point in distances, all distances measured from the pole of the mirror. Distances are measured from the pole of the mirror. This we must to measure the distances, object distance or image distance from the pole only, from pole to object, from is called object distance. And next if the distance is measured, here AB is the object, the light ray is like this, the direction of the light. Distances measured along the light direction taken as positive. That means the light direction and measuring direction is same, then the distances are taken as positive. Distance are positive. Next, if the distances measured opposite to the light direction, they are taken as the negative. Distances measured along the light direction taken as positive, distances which are measured along the opposite to the light direction taken as negative. Next, the object height and image height. Heights are measured from the principal axis. heights are measured from the principal axis. The heights which are above from the principal axis taken as positive, the heights which are below from the principal axis taken as negative. Here sign convention, we have the three rules. First one is all distances are measured from the pole of the mirror. The distances which measured along the light direction taken as positive, the distances which measure opposite to the light direction taken as negative. Next to heights of the objects and heights of the image. The heights are always measured from the principal axis. If the heights are measured above the principal axis are taken as positive, the heights which are measured below the principal axis taken as negative. These are the sign convention. Okay, thank you. Okay. Welcome to the DEO Nalgonda online classes. I am Vijayendar, PGT, TS Model School, Kanagal. Last in the part 2 of the reflection of light at curved surface, we have seen the sign convention. How to measure the here, what is object distance and what is image distance. Object distance is the distance between pole and object is called object distance. It is denoted by the U. Object distance is denoted by the U. The distance between pole and image is called image distance, denoted by the V. Now, in this video, we are going to learn the how to measure the object distance and image distance. To measure the object distance and image distance, we have the experiment. We need the materials required to measure the object distance and image distance are the concave mirror. This is the concave mirror and V stand, white paper and scale and candle. These are the materials required to measure the object distance and image distance. Now we will see the experiment, how to do the experiment. To find the image distance and object distance, the arrangement are like this. This is the V stand and concave mirror. This is the object. We have taken the candle, and this is the white paper which is acting as the screen. This the height of this concave mirror and this flame should be same height, and image is forming and below the principal axis. This is the okay. Now first measure the distance between this object and pole. The distance between object and pole will give the object distance U. Now by moving the place changing this position, now place these mirror and object in the same position, same vertical axis. Now move the screen and near and far from the object, and find the position where you can get the sharp image of this flame, candle flame. Now you can observe this, the image of the flame is downward, that means inverted image is formed. Here the flame is upward direction, the flame is inward direction, so it is the inverted image. Now measure the distance between this mirror and this object. This is nearly 30 centimeters, and object distance is the distance between mirror and object is 30 centimeters. Now measure the distance between mirror and this image, that is nearly 25 centimeters. So now again you can change the position by changing the position of the object. You can find the different images, different distance images. Now I have changed the distance of the object. Now I am finding the image for the object, that is image of this object is behind the center of curvature, and we can get the large enlarged image. And this is the real image. Real image means we are catching the image on the screen, on the paper. So this type of image is called real image. Real image is the image which can catch on the screen, is called real image. So this is the real image, is can be formed by the concave mirror. Okay, the result of the experiments. Now when the object distance is 50 centimeters, image is formed at 30 centimeters. The size of the image is small, that means diminished, and nature of the image is real image, that means we can catch on the screen, that image can be catch on the screen, so that is real image. Now in second case we have taken the 40 centimeters, object distance 40 centimeters, then image is formed at a distance 40 centimeters. The size of the image is same size. The nature of the image is real. And third case, now object distance u is further decreased, that is between F and C, that is 30 centimeters. Image distance is about 55 centimeters. The size is enlarged. And it is real image. If we take the object at infinity distance, the image is formed at a focus, that means image distance is equal to the 20 centimeters, and size of the image is highly diminished. Nature of the image is real image. And if you place the object at 20 centimeters, that means focal length of the concave mirror, image is forming at infinity distance, so we can't say. And size of the image and nature of the image we can't say about the image when the object is at the distance of focal length. So we can't say it is forming at the infinite distance. So this is the method we can measure the object distance and image distance. If we observe the object distance and image distance, here from top to bottom, here except this case, as object distance decreasing from 50 centimeters to 40 to 30 centimeters, 20 centimeters, the image distance is increasing. As object distance is decreasing, image distance is increasing. So the relation between the object distance and image distance is as the inversely proportional. That means as the object distance is decreasing, image distance is increasing. As the object distance is decreasing, image distance is increasing. So the precautions taken in measuring the object distance and image distance in this experiment is these concave mirror and screen and object should be lie on the same axis, and the flame and mirror must be, the screen must be below this principal axis, then we can get the sharp image. Okay, thank you very much. Next part we will see the next class.